Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk to you guys about the benefits of having systems and processes, not only in your business, but also in your life, and how you can utilize this to your advantage and grow and scale what you do. Motivation is not a predictable way to grow anything. And even if you're the most motivated person ever, you're going to wake up some days where you're just not going to be as productive. You're not going to feel like going to the gym. You're not going to feel like making those 300 calls. You're not going to feel like following up on those emails or doing those specific daily tasks that you're required to do for your job and your business. Systems systematically get a team, an organization, or a person from point A to point B without motivation. Meaning, you are literally following essentially a playbook that if you follow that playbook, it creates a desired outcome that you want. So let's talk about on the most basics in a first principle manner, how to incorporate a system. Let's say that you have 3 sales reps and you want to close a lot of deals. This is not even getting specific, a good amount of deals within a month. Not having a system would be like, all right, guys, we're going to call as many leads as we can. We're going to try to set as many appointments as we can do. And we're going to see who can close the most deals. And then you just do nothing. And you may get some deals. You may not do well. Heck, you may do amazing. You're going to have all of these sporadic and random occurrences. A system would be for you to simply not only track every time someone makes a call, how many times someone answers, how many times someone is pitched, and how many times someone is set and closed. So you have all of that data, but actually figure out the exact amount of outbound calls each one of those sales reps needs to make. And when you start looking at the data of how many answer, how many are set, and how many are actually closed, what you can do is you can build a system of when they call, when they run appointments, and what target they need to be at to actually hit their goals. Because if you figure out, for example, that the law of averages, they have to call 150 people to have, let's say, let's go 40 answer, to have 5 set appointments, to close 2.5 deals, then each sales rep knows their target. They have to make 150 calls per day. So if we simply do the math, if you have 3 reps calling 150 appointments or people per day, that's simple, 450 calls per day times 5. That means you have 2,250 outbound calls per day. Now remember, if that equals each one of those reps are closing 2.5 deals per day, 7.5 per week, that means you could build a system where you close an average of 37.5 deals per week if your team hits a target of 2,250 calls per week. And you do that by actually not only managing when they call, but how many people they call. And you're tracking that data. If you have to do it the old-fashioned way and just have them track it each time they call, or eventually you have a calling system and a CRM that tracks all the inbound, outbound calls, and all that good stuff, you need to know what that is. Because what happens is sales reps, but I want to say in just general, people, we're all humans, we're all emotional. And so we're not always going to feel the best. So yeah, on Monday when you're pumped up, you're rested, you're ready to go, a sales rep may be inclined to make more calls. But if you have it in the system, no matter what, on Tuesday when they're hungover, they don't feel like working, or they couldn't sleep last night, or they're just kind of worn out, or they just hit all their sales numbers so they don't feel like selling. If it's a standard that they have to hit that 150 target, that call target, and you're constantly monitoring and training based on the results of each one of those days, if they're hungover and tired or they don't feel like doing it, they're still going to go hit those 150 calls. If they feel great, they may do even more than 150, or they could take that 150 and increase that law of average. So you create a simple system. I'll give you another example of a simple process that we implemented. And my point of this is like, if you can add it to your business, great. But I want you to more so think about my processes and thinking for it, because we have a system for everything. So what we noticed is, let's say our sales reps in the organization would set 15 to 20 appointments during the day. On average, in this main industry that I'm in, most people the companies pitch around 30 to 35% of appointments. We wanted to get it as high as possible because it was simple math. If we pitch more people, we're going to close more deals. We're going to make more revenue. Sales reps are going to close more deals. So what we figured out is, how do we maximize this? First thing is that we ran data on what is the pitch percentage for a same day set, a next day set, and a set that is 2 days out. And what we found, if it was a same day set, we had as much as almost a 65 to 68% pitch percentage. You set it today, like if I'm right here, let's say it's 3:36. If I set it for 5 o'clock tonight, there's almost a 70% chance I'm pitching that appointment. We saw that next day appointments were around 40 to 45%. But what's interesting is when it was 2 days out, they were actually under 15%. And if it was 3 days out, it was less than an 8% chance that they were going to show. So what do? If we know that if we set 2 to 3 days out, it's basically a waste of time, we simply made it a policy that reps are not even allowed to set an appointment that is not same day or next day. And if the customer says, oh, I can only do 2 days out, we actually built in an objection and rebuttal to where we go, completely understand, look, we're backed up as well. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't know if this makes sense. It only take us 10 to 15 minutes to see if it's even a good fit. Remember, I got a 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock today. Which one works best for you? Let's say they say no to that for the same day. When you reply to the objection, you go, okay, tomorrow I have an 11 a.m. or 6 p.m. Which one works best? And just doing that not only increased the sets for same day and next day, but even if they said, no, I can't, I'm not going to be there, what we do is we set a tentative appointment for that 2 or 3 days out, but the rep doesn't post it, and they say, look, I'm going to follow up and give you a quick call or shoot you a confirmation text the morning of. All we ask that you send a thumbs up. So then that rep is not sitting there waiting on an appointment that has almost more than a 90% chance it's not going to be fulfilled. They're not going to show, which is going to waste their time, which is going to cause them to not set appointments and create this domino effect of not only not being able to pitch, but pitching the wrong people whose interest is lower. So just setting that system and that process made a massive difference. Two, to increase that pitch percentage is when we experience a no-show, we realize that the motivated or the sales rep that's doing really good or whatever the case may be, they're going to call forever until that person answers. But the bulk of reps, you really, and people in general, and this is how you got to look at your business, is pretty much no one's going to be as motivated as you. And so it's important to build systems that when they follow, not only do you get the most output out of your team, but they are more successful, they make more money, and the company is more efficient and successful. So all we did, and this is literally sometimes how simple these are, is if you get no-showed, meaning I set a 1 o'clock appointment, the customer doesn't answer, I'm calling for 10 minutes. All we did, this is literally how big of a difference this is. You post on the Slack thread that team, or excuse me, that individual rep, whatever their team is, they put it in that thread. Hey, John Smith has a 1 p.m. appointment. They didn't answer. Can you guys give him a call? And all that happens is the reps who aren't in appointments call them, text them, and email them until John Smith answers. And did some people go, yo, stop calling, blah, blah, blah? Yes. But you know what also happened? Our pitch percentage as a company since implementing that one simple process, depending on the month, increased anywhere between 8 to 13%. Now, 10% of more pitches, if we have 700 to 800 appointments in a month, is massive. Think about if it's 10%, that could be 70 more pitches. If we close 25% of deals as a company, that's an extra 17 deals, 17.5, but let's just say 17. If we're averaging a $35,000 sell price, that means we could do, just from doing that one simple process, not a genius thing that a normal person could figure out, that could be an extra $600,000 in revenue, which could be about $60,000 to $75,000, if not more, worth of commissions to our sales reps. But what did we do? I did not rely on our reps being motivated. Because think about it. Let's say they have a 5 o'clock appointment and then they got a date at 6:30 or 7:30. They may, I'm okay if they miss it. I already got a deal today. But now if they don't post it, the manager has a trained process that if they see a no-show, they're like, hey, make sure to post it on the thread. Hey, why didn't you post it on the thread? So they know they can't even operate without doing that. And they also know that it's their job to manage their schedule. So if they got a date at 6, then you don't need to schedule anything past 4. And so that's my point, is you need to build a process that is not only simple and scalable, that benefits everyone included, but it's enforced. And that's how I want you guys to look at everything, is you can systematically grow your business. You can become more fit. You can increase your sales and your efficiency and drop your customer acquisition. You can do all the things that grow a business and make you more successful. But you have to stop relying on your feelings. Business, guys, is a math problem. You got to know your customer acquisition to lifetime value ratio. And whatever that ratio is, sometimes you don't necessarily have to improve anything. You don't necessarily need to make your ads better. You don't necessarily need to improve the product. I mean, I think you always got to generally want to do those things. But sometimes you just have to double your ad spend and double the amount of sales reps that you have. So you have to look at these things as, if you just say, hey, we need to work harder at getting people on the phone, nobody knows what the hell that means. It's like background noise. They're going to ignore it and they're going to continue to do what they do. At best, they'll try a little bit harder for 2 days and then it's done. Processes and systems that are easy to understand, that they can recite off the top of their head and understand why they're doing it in a simply curated standard operating procedure. That is what makes a change in a business and organization. And you could do the same thing just for you as a solopreneur or just as a person. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to be posting more business content and more actionable items that you guys can use to grow and scale your business. If you are a small business owner, startup founder, entrepreneur, or salesperson, there's a link below, grantmentcoaching.com. We're working with entrepreneurs to scale their companies for the next 6 months. Other than that, hope you guys have an incredible week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers, guys.